Hey, it's Eric with Patch Foundry. I'm going to walk you through today how to use the cover band pack, or more specifically, how to have it installed and get it up and running. Now, we're not going to go in depth at all. This is just the 30,000 foot view of how to get things going. For starters, I've got the MainStage 3 cover band pack volume 1 here, and this is going to be the same whether you've got volume 1, volume 2, or any future ones that we have, or you have any individual song. So like if you bought, for instance, Signed, Sealed, and Delivered, this will work exactly the same. For starters, this file will be immediately downloadable for you, and it should go into your download folder. I've drug it to my desktop here so I don't lose it. And then I'm going to just open it up here real quick. And you should have 3 files. The template, this is just the overall concert that you're going to be using in order to run the file. You'll have a manual. This goes into a lot of depth with a lot of different things, including a lot of what I'm showing you here, but then it also adds, like, if you want to add these patches here to your third-party thing, or to a third-party concert or anything like that, you can easily do that here. So that's all there. And then, of course, we have the extras folder. This is where you'll have presets for bus channel strips if you're adding it to a third-party folder. And then, of course, all of the individual patches. Or if you've bought a single patch, that would just be one patch in here. So you've got all of these here. There should be 30 of those patches if you bought one of the packs. And let's just start by talking about what you need in order to run this. You'll need MainStage. MainStage is $30 currently on the Mac App Store, and the version you're going to need is 3.7.1 or higher. The other thing you'll need is a M1 or higher Mac computer, and it has to be Apple Silicon. There may be, at this time of when you're watching this video, there might be a new label, but basically just any chip that's made by Apple should be able to function this. We tested this whole thing on a M1 MacBook Pro, which is considered kind of old at this point, but it ran flawlessly, and so that's our recommendation. Then, second thing you need is all of the sounds that MainStage has, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. And then you'll also need 100 gigabytes of extra storage space on your hard drive. And this is really important because the way MainStage works is it pulls the samples directly from your drive. So you either need to have 100 gigabytes of storage space on your hard drive empty, and all of the content installed on the internal drive, or you can always use a very fast SSD external drive. But our recommendation is internal just because it's fast. So let's go ahead and open this up. To open it, you just double tap. It launches. And you can see this is really fast because we're only using MainStage. There's no third-party content or plugins. And there it is. It's up. All of the files that you have are going to be over here on the left. And let's walk through what this window is. Again, I'm not going to cover MainStage, how to use it in general today. I'm just talking about installation. So on the left, we have all of our individual patches. In the middle, we'll have information about patch library, attributes, all kinds of things, and then information about the individual channel strips. Again, we're not going in depth on that. And then all of these channels over here are the things you're going to be playing. Now, all of our concerts are designed to have 2 keyboards in them. And the philosophy on this is you've got the bottom keyboard, which is going to be all your sounds that you absolutely need to pull off a cover band song. And then the top ones are the extras, like little things to make it better. So in order to get these both to go, I need to assign my keyboard, which I've got a Studio Logic down below that you probably can't see, and then a OB6 keyboard behind me that I'm going to use as my top controller. So let's get started. To do that, we're going to go to layout mode. Layout mode is right here. I'm going to tap down here at the bottom. And then in order to map this, I have to have it connected via USB cable. Hit assign, and then move it. And you can see up here, right up in this area, that it's coming in and it's playing here. When I'm done, I just turn it off. Let's do the same thing, but with my OB6. Hit assign, play some notes, and there we go. Now let's test it. We'll go back to our edit mode and the bottom and the top. Okay, so we have that mapped now. Next up, let's assign some of the knobs and sliders. Rather than go through each individual one, I'll just show you in general how you do this. So by default, I've got my mod wheel here down below controlling this little modulation wheel here. If I wanted to change that, and just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to assign that to the organ drive. To do that, we just click on the thing that we have, we hit assign, and we move it. And there we go. Now, when I come over here, and I go to full screen, you can see it there, moving. And I can do that with any kind of MIDI control that I have here for any knobs that I want anywhere here, and it's going to translate through all the individual packs if I do it on the layout mode. So we have that set. Now let's talk a little bit about settings in general. So I'm going to go to MainStage Settings, General, and there's a few things we want to set. For starters, we want to make sure tuning is exactly where we want it at 440 Hertz. That's usually what most people have it set. When we start up, we want to do nothing. And the reason for that is that we don't want to launch the wrong concert and have to wait for it, then close it, then open the right one. So we set that for do nothing. Then on patch change, you can either set it to keep the current value, which will basically mean anytime you move a note, anything around, it'll save it at that current value. Or you can set it to the saved value, so it resets every time. If you don't know what you're doing with this, you're pretty new, you might want to set it to reset. Respond to hardware movement, jump is fine, and then auto save modified concerts. I have it set to never. If you're like doing a lot of work where maybe you forget to save, you could set it to one of these, but I'll warn you, sometimes when it sets, there's a hiccup in audio. That's why I have it set to never. So now let's go to audio. Next thing is we're going to need to pick a audio interface to go out on. If you don't know about this, there's a lot of information online. You can find out a lot about that. I've got a universal audio Apollo Twin hooked up today. To select it, I just have to connect it via, I believe it's Thunderbolt. And then I have to just make sure it's recognized and all that. And again, that's something you have to deal with separately. But once it's there, I can select it as my output device. And then this doesn't really matter here, but I'm going to set it as my input device as well. Then your sample rate, we're going to put at 44.1 kilohertz. That is going to be the minimum level, but that's CD quality, so that's more than enough when you're playing live. I've never been in a situation where an audio engineer has come up and said, hey, could you go at a higher sample rate? But they'll always be fine with that, barring some crazy moment. So in-out buffer size. So this is basically how fast does the key respond when you strike it. For me, I'm very sensitive to latency, and so I try and keep it as low as possible. A lot of people can play just fine at 512 or 256. I have tested this concert at 128, which is very, very quick, and it's great. In fact, you can see here the resulting latency is less than 17 milliseconds, which is like hardly any at all. In fact, it's more, I think it's less than the human ear can even hear. So pretty cool there. Then the hot plug behavior, alert me. This is basically if I unplug my keyboard, it will let me know that it's unplugged, which is nice. A silence previous audio patch. So if for some reason there's a note that hangs on the previous one, it'll stop after 5 seconds. This keeps your CPU good. Then voice limiter active. This is really important. If you want to have seamless transitions from one patch to the next, you got to make sure it's off. Okay, recording, not that important. You can set where you want to save your recording, where you can hit this little record button up here, and it will allow you to save whatever you're playing or record whatever you're playing. So a fun little thing to check your playing if maybe you're being too busy in a rehearsal or whatever. Midi, this is pretty standard. Just match it to what I'm showing here. Maybe pause it. View, again, this is kind of up to you. Here's the settings I have set. And then sampler, this is really not anything to worry about at all. So we're going to go ahead and close that. And now we should hear sound when we play. So let's just go through a few. Coming through. And I'm using a expression pedal here. Now, last thing that I'll show you before we quit. Each one of these has its own ability to hold a chart over in this right-hand side. You could also type on this too. So I could say, I could write whatever I wanted to write here and have the chart, but it has the ability to do a PDF file. Let me show you how to add your own. So let's go down to maybe signed, sealed, delivered. And I click over here. There's 2 spots here, one for text, one for the background. We want to make sure we select that background. Click there, and then there's a little thing down below here called Screen Control Inspector. It's already set to have a custom background, but if for some reason it isn't, you can click there. And then I can come over, grab any PDF file or PNG file, and drop it in. And when that happens, it appears like this. So when I go to full screen, I've got my chart right here on the side. So that then will change whenever I decide to move. So if I want to go to, let's say, shake it off, it disappears. And I could add my own chart there if I wanted to. But yeah, it's right there. Every time that you load the file, you don't have to save anything extra. It just saves automatically with the patch. And that is how to get started with the cover band pack or individual sounds. And if you get stuck on any of this, check the manual. And then, of course, you can always write me at patchfoundry.com. Thanks so much.